those traditions. What I mean by that is don't define your relationship with God as requiring endorsement of any one tradition, or don't let it be dictated by any one tradition. There's no reason to do that. These are all post-biblical traditions. Why should they set the rules for you on your relationship with God as opposed to letting Scripture set the rules for you on your relationship with God? Scripture preceded all of these traditions. It's also inspired, okay, where these traditions are not. And again, I don't want maybe newcomers to the podcast to think like I'm anti-tradition. I don't spend any time shooting on this podcast or anywhere where I go lecture. I don't spend any time shooting at denominations. I also don't spend any time endorsing them. They are what they are. They are post-biblical human exercises and efforts to transmit Christian teaching. Okay, and they all have something to contribute. They all have something that just makes me cringe. But again, they are what they are, and I trying to be as charitable as I can here. I think the goal is, for most people who are serious in all these traditions. I'm not talking about the people who use Christian office and ministry office and denominational this and that for power. Okay, those people you can write off. Okay, that is antithetical to servanthood. It's antithetical to discipleship. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are really sincere and serious. They want to know the Lord. Okay, and so those people within these traditions, their heart's in the right place. Their tradition will again, there'll be things that are just going to conform really well to Scripture. There's going to be things that don't. But all the traditions are trying to do the same thing in the sincere bucket to have people know the Lord and walk with God and become disciples of Jesus. They just are what they are. Everybody has hits and misses, so I don't feel any sense of either moral obligation or theological obligation or personal obligation, practical obligation to have to pick one. I don't know where the cosmic rule is that says I have to pick one. So I don't. I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather try to understand the text, the thing that trumps all of those things, the thing that preceded, the thing that actually is inspired. I'd rather try to understand that and use that as, the sandbox, so to speak, to play in, or the laboratory in which to engage and try to figure out, what the Lord wants and how I should live. That's, what can I say, without becoming too repetitious? I mean, that's my advice to you. Divorce your relationship with God from endorsing or being, having it dictated to you by any tradition. I could walk into a whole bunch of different churches and get something out of it. And chances are I could walk into those same churches and cringe on any given Sunday too. It just is what it is. It's where humanity is at. That again, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. You're going to have hits and misses. So your walk with the Lord shouldn't be something that is sort of malleable by your experience on any given Sunday. I mean, you should be able to, hear what's being preached in some place, and Lord willing, it actually has some orientation to Scripture, or see a liturgy and understand it. That should help you in thinking about your relationship to God and being a disciple of Jesus. It should help you in some way. You should get something out of it, no matter where you're at. Again, I realize we live in a bizarre day, so I can't guarantee that, but I hope you get the spirit of the comment. Your relationship with God should be something that's working in you internally, that is not dictated by your external experiences in places, that we call churches. Okay. Those things can help, they can hinder. All right. Realize that, but ultimately it's between you and the Lord. All right. And that's the boots on the ground place where all of this should be happening. And so that, again, that's my advice. Don't link your relationship with the Lord to any tradition.
All right, Mike, that's all we got for this week. We appreciate everybody that sent their questions, and I'm looking forward. Don't forget those 2 announcements: conference this year, cruise next year. Be on the lookout for more updates with that. Should be good, Mike.
Yeah, we'll do our best to make something happen.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. All right, well, with that, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Naked Bible Podcast. God bless.
Thanks for listening to the Naked Bible Podcast. To support this podcast, visit www.nakedbibleblog.com. To learn more about Dr. Heiser's other websites and blogs, go to www.drmsh.com.